Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be covering a what if which has been covered by many other what if YouTubers. Today I'll be doing what if Vegito stayed fused. Now, I know this has been done quite a lot, and I want to do it because I love Vegito. He's my favourite out of the two fusions, so it'll be a good chance to do it. Plus, I know someone who recommended this and I thought about it, it could be fun. Anyway, I'm going to be doing it a bit differently. I will be, doing my own spin on it, and I will also be using a tiny bit of headcanon, but other than that, it shouldn't really matter too much. Now, anyway, let's begin with the story. Our story starts off in the Goku Black arc, where Goku and Vegeta are struggling up against Merge Zamasu. They can't really seem to, do anything to him. And this is around the time where Guasu and Supreme Kai recommend using Potara fusion, with Vegeta not really wanting to do it, as, he doesn't want to be fused permanently like he should have been from the Buu saga. However, Guasu explains that it should only stay fused for an hour. They are mortals, it's only Kai's which is a permanent fusion. Now, hearing this, Vegeta still doesn't really want to do it, but he knows they don't really have many other options, and fuses. Now, the moment Vegito gets into battle, it's pretty one-sided. Much like in canon, Vegito's destroying Zamasu, but he's not doing enough damage to end him. So, for a while, the fight goes on the same as it did in canon, up until the point where Vegito's about to defuse. You see, instead of defusing, they've stay fused. Not anything out of the ordinary, just, the Supreme Kai doesn't question it, Guasu doesn't question it, so, they leave it be for now. But it's slowly starting to approach the hour mark, and the Kais warn Vegito that they need to take the Zamasu down now. Or just try and do something, because they're running out of time. Now, Vegito, hearing this, activates Kaioken times 20 on top of his Super Saiyan Blue. He's going to pull it all down to take Zamasu down, immediately hitting Zamasu as hard as he can, and stabbing him with the Spirit Sword, trying to cut him up into hundreds of millions of pieces. And once he's done that, he barrages Zamasu with thousands of hundreds of ki blasts, just trying anything at all. And after a minute or two after being bombarded by all this ki, he doesn't seem to be getting back up. Well, they can't really tell anyway. So Vegito, wanting to make sure, shouts over to the Kais, asking how much time he's got left, with them being confused as he's 5 minutes over his timer now. They don't really understand what's happening. Vegito is still here. They haven't fused. They haven't even shown any signs of defusing. So Vegito flies over, thinking he just might have misheard them. Really confused. But they confirm what they said, and Vegito's a little annoyed. He feels like he's been misled, and that the Kais have lied to him. However, they don't really have time to be worrying about this right now, as Vegito can sense Zamasu's getting back up and slowly coming towards them. He's slowly reforming, bit by bit, and he's got enough to start building momentum towards the two, or the group. And Vegito is very tired at this point in time. He's been fighting for over an hour. He's used the Super Saiyan Blue this whole time, and he used Kaioken right at the end. He gets into a fighting stance, however, he's not 100%. However, before much can be done, he isn't really in the city anymore. He doesn't even think he's on Earth. He looks around, spends a second trying to adjust, and he recognises where he is. He's on King Kai's planet, which is really weird. He looks around and can't sense anyone, and Supreme Kai explains that he teleported them away, not really knowing what to do. Now, not 100% sure if it's ever stated that King Kai's planet is blown up in the future time. I did have a quick look and it doesn't seem like it was, so we'll just be leaving this how it is for now. Anyway, after having a look around for a minute, they realise it looks like there's been a battle going on here, or at least someone's been here. And Trunks, who is with the group, just goes deadly silent all of a sudden. And Vegito notices this and asks what's happened. But out of nowhere, future Gohan does come out of the blue, and walks over to Trunks, saying hello, basically. And Vegito doesn't know who this is. He recognises the energy, but can't really put, a name to the, key. And Trunks begins to cry, basically, and goes over to talk to Gohan and figure out what he's doing here. And Gohan explains that, after dying to the androids, he was allowed passage over on Snake Way to King Kai's planet, which makes sense. And he explains, I've been here training with everyone for the last few years. Trunks doesn't understand what he means, everyone, and he explains that Krillin, Yamcha, his dad, Mr. Piccolo, Tien, everyone other than Vegeta is here. Vegeta hadn't gone through his character arc at this point to be able to go to King Kai's planet, so he is in hell. But other than that, this is what he's been doing for the last few years. Trunks is happy to hear that Gohan's alright, and Gohan begins to congratulate Trunks for destroying the androids, doing something he could have never done. And he says he's so proud that he was his student, as, he would have never, otherwise the Earth never would have got rid of the androids, maybe. Now, while this is all happening, Vegito sat over there, and after hearing it was Gohan, is just sort of sizing him up against, their Gohan. Gohan does notice that Vegito is sort of sizing him up and asks who is that? And Trunks explains, this is your dad and Vegeta from a different timeline. I brought them here to help me out beating the black enemy. And Gohan's confused because that's his dad and Vegeta in one person. Vegeta just explains it's complicated, but he's happy to see that Gohan is training in this timeline. Their Gohan doesn't really train. Anyway, Supreme Kai does interrupt, saying that he needs to figure out why they haven't defused, but also they need to find a way to deal with Zamasu. And they should probably make it snappy. They don't know if Zamasu can get here like they can. And they talk for a little bit, and Gohan does come up with a plan, actually. He suggests that, why don't they make a wish with the Namekian Dragon Balls to, take away Zamasu's immortality. Vegito then explains how the Super Dragon Balls work, and they are 100 times stronger than any of the Dragon Balls they have access to at the minute. Which sort of gives Gohan a bit of a headache. That's a lot to learn about, Gods of Destruction, Super Dragon Balls, their power. It's a lot to learn at once. Anyway, this does put an idea in Vegito's head, and he does think that going to Namek wouldn't be a bad idea. So the group does decide to go to Namek, but before they leave, Gohan and Trunks have a minute where they, just hug, and Trunks apologises for not being able to save him, and for being too weak to not be able to save the Earth at the minute, where Gohan basically does repeat what he said to him earlier, how he is one of the strongest fighters he has ever met. and he is proud of the fact that he saved the Earth, and he knows that the Earth is in good hands as long as Trunks is around. So he shouldn't worry too much, just deal with this threat at the moment. And like that, they share a hug. Vegito grabs everyone, other than Gohan, and teleports away. Now, once arriving on Namek, they find an older Namekian, and they begin talking to him, asking if they would be able to use the Dragon Balls. The Namekian being a bit hesitant, not really knowing who they are, they just sort of showed up, is like not really sure what to do. However, Vegito does explain that he is the same man who came and saved their planet years ago, and he only needs to borrow the Namekian Dragon Balls, if that would be alright. And like that, the Namekian does, loosen up a little bit. He's a bit more, he agrees with them pretty much. He introduces himself as Dende and actually says he was here during the fight with Frieza. He doesn't really recognise the warriors in front of him, but it has been a few years, so, they might have changed. He then begins to talk that if they want the Dragon Balls, they're going to have to quickly go and collect them all, to make the wish with Porunga. And Vegito happily does that, and they probably spend a good 30 minutes hopping between villages and just grabbing the Dragon Balls every now and again, and explaining that, they've been told it is alright. Now, once all the Dragon Balls are collected, and Porunga is summoned, Vegito explains to the Namekian what his wish is. He says he wishes for the being known as Zamasu to become, to defuse, destroy the Patora earrings using them. And like that, Dende repeats it back in the Namekian language, and Porunga responds saying he can complete this wish, and like that destroys the Patora earrings on Merge Zamasu's ears. And knowing this, they're all a bit more ready to fight, but now they need to find a way to deal with Zamasu. Supreme Chaos pitches up the idea to wish for a Mafuba seal so they can just seal him away now, which they also think is a good idea. And like before, they ask for it and the wish is granted. Now, with their countermeasures in place, they know they can beat the two now. They have one more wish, they don't really know what to do with it. But Trunks, who's been sort of quiet this whole time, speaks up and makes his wish. He wishes for his mother, Bulma, to be brought back to life. And everyone's fine with that. No one argues with it at all, and the wish is granted. Bulma is back on Earth. She isn't in any immediate danger, as Zamasu and Black are sort of startled to what's happened. Now, after this, Porunga separates and everyone grabs on to each other and they teleport back to Earth right in front of Goku Black and Zamasu. And immediately, Goku Black just sort of, he goes pale. He doesn't know what's happening. And Vegito, cracking his knuckles, walks up and begins to throw Zamasu around like a rag doll, telling Trunks to just go deal with Zamasu. He can't be bothered with this. He wants Black. Now, after a few minutes of playing around with Black, he is complete and utterly broken, unable to move, and pretty much just barely able to cling on to life. And Vegito's bored now. He just thinks to put Black out of his misery. But he does warn Black that if he ever hurts his family again, either of them, it will be the biggest mistake of his life. In any timeline, it doesn't matter when. Vegito will come and get him and kill him. And like that, Vegito spirit swords him, ending it all. Now, while this was happening, Trunks managed to seal Zamasu. He managed to seal Zamasu away, and now he just left to find his mother. And once the group all meets back up, with Future Bomber being there, Past Bomber is there, they just have this moment where they discuss what the timeline's plan is. You know, everything's dealt with now. Black's dead, Zamasu's dealt with. Vegito does tell Trunks to just get rid of Zamasu, put him somewhere that will never be found, but make sure it won't be destroyed. Otherwise he will be released again. However, now you have the ability to take him down. And Trunks does agree. He will go and deal with this the moment this group has left. So now this whole group is here, and they just have this nice moment where they're saying goodbye before they get in the ship. That is pretty much it. The Goku Black arc is over. Vegito just happened to, you know, make it a lot easier for them. And I got rid of Zeno because I thought it would be a bit boring if they just summoned Zeno as Vegito. So this will be where I'm leaving this part off, with all of the people from the past heading back. And, you know, Vegito will sort out whatever he needs to sort out when he gets back. And that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope you found my spin on it a bit more interesting. And that's it. Have a good day or a good night. I'll see you next time.